Well, good morning. I'm glad that you are here for our second day of Applique School. Thanks for coming today. If you missed our Applique School yesterday, you can get the replay. You can watch it right on Facebook, or I can send you that replay by email. All you need to do is sign up for our Applique School on our event calendar on the Sue Pellin Designs website. So Marilyn, I'm glad you're here. I'm sure there'll be lots of people coming on as we get started. And I just wanted to, excuse me, to welcome you to my studio. This is where I make all of my applique quilts. And I love making applique quilts. And I am so excited about getting all of you excited about applique as well. Yesterday, I told you that I was going to be sponsoring the Hopes and Dreams Challenge for ALS. And I'm so excited. I got my official letter today that they got my sponsorship and we are going to get started with the ALS Challenge. So you'll be hearing a lot about that from me this year. It's a cause that's near and dear to my heart, and I am so proud to be a sponsor of the Quilter's Dream Batting Hopes and Dreams Challenge. So good morning, Elaine. Good morning, Marilyn. That is exciting. Yes. And Priscilla, good morning. So nice to see so many of you back from yesterday. Good morning, Betsy. Excellent. Melinda from North Georgia. Terrific. Melinda, I don't think I saw you here yesterday, or maybe you just didn't comment. Maybe you were here. So we are ready to get going. We have a lot to cover in Applique School today. We have a couple of techniques that I want to go over with you that I know you're excited about, and I'm excited about showing you those too. So yesterday we talked about hand applique, and I got a mixed reaction about hand applique. Some people love it and some people will never do it. Well, that's perfectly fine. Applique School is all about finding the right applique method for you. And that might be one method, it might be two methods, it might be three or more methods, depending on your quilt, depending on the situation. Good morning, Jean from Alberta, Canada. Good morning, Jeannie from West Virginia. It's so nice to see everyone here. So yesterday, I was so thrilled that you all got involved. You all started commenting and answering my questions about your learning style, your level of where you would put your applique abilities right now. And I asked a lot of questions. We had a lot of real excitement out in the group answering those questions. So that was really nice. And last night, oh my gosh, I was up till 2:00 in the morning because I was looking at all of your responses. I was trying to answer all of your questions and your comments, and at least acknowledge your comments and acknowledge that you were there. Oh my gosh, I only got halfway through the comments because there were so many people commenting and so much good conversation yesterday. So thank you for that. Thank you for engaging with me and with the other members here on Applique School, the other students here on Applique School. Hello from Somerset, Kentucky. Who is that? All I see is Facebook user right now because I'm on StreamYard, which doesn't allow me to see your name. So June, it's nice to see you from Maine. I'm so glad you could make it today too. Myrna, you're here again. Terrific. Thank you for coming, Myrna. And I will get to that video correction after this session. Just been a little bit involved with this session, and I haven't had time to check that Drunkard's Path video. That had me going at a crazy speed. I'll fix that, and we'll get that back up in the membership site for you. Hi, Terry. Tony. I'm sorry, Tony. I'm combining your two names. Tony from the UK. So nice to see you here, Tony. And Tony, I saw your comments yesterday. I was able to, it's nice because then I'm able to get to know you and what your goals are for learning applique. And Tony, I can absolutely support my UK customers in the education phase because that's all digital and online. I don't have to physically ship items to you. That's where it gets into a little bit of difficulty, and I'm still researching that. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to make that work for all of my overseas customers. Okay, terrific. Irene, nice to see you here again today. June, you're in Maine too. Terrific. Dorothy's in Maine as well. Nice to make those connections with other members out there in this big old world. Now, this mode of me being able to come to you through these wonderful Facebook Live sessions. That's just one way we stay connected as a group here at Sue Pellin Designs. So we have twice on Tuesdays for our Ahead of the Curve members. We have Sewing and Slippers with Sue every other Tuesday for the rest of the community. And I'm not sewing in slippers today. I've actually got bare feet today because it's so warm here in my studio today. So yeah, there's opportunities for us to get together and to continue this education process. We're going to talk a little bit later about how much I value education and how that really improves the quality of your life when you're a constant lifelong learner. So that's really important to me. And I want to talk about that a little bit later. So we are going to dive right in. Hello from Hawaii. Diane, I didn't realize you were in Hawaii. Is that a vacation or are you there? Do you live there? So cool. That's wonderful. Brenda, you're in your element. So sweet. Thank you, Brenda. So yes, this is my studio. This is my element. Teaching is my forte. That's my strong suit. That is what I love to do. So when I'm teaching here online, I can reach that wider community across the world. And I had an Australian customer yesterday commenting, and I want to thank you all for coming on when it was convenient for you, not necessarily in the morning. 11 o'clock in the morning, who knows where that is for all of you. So I appreciate your checking your calendar and watching the replay, even if you couldn't be here live. So those of you on replay, go ahead and leave a comment too. I check those comments and I'll continue to look at those comments over the next week. We have some sales going on. That happens until September 10th. We have a promotion on our membership. Membership is open until September 10th. Membership is always open. You can always join membership, but it's the fact is that we have some specials going on when you join now. And I'm doing back to school right now because this is the perfect time to go back to school, learn this new technique, and reach your dreams as an applique quilter. So it's time to get started. I've got a lot to cover and I don't want to waste any time because yesterday I felt like I ran out of time, even though we had 2 hours. Oh my gosh, it goes by so fast. So you can stay for as long as you'd like to. You can watch this on the replay. So you don't need to sit for all 2 hours, but you're going to have the opportunity to ask me lots of questions today. So the longer you can stay, the better. So stick around. Okay, super. That's great. Diane's in Hawaii on vacation. All right. So welcome to Applique School. I'm going to get started with the presentation that I've put together because I put a lot of work into this presentation yesterday so that I could remember to say all of the important things and show you all of the important things for today. So we'll get started with a little bit of about me, because if you are here for the first time and you don't know who I am or why I'm here talking to you about applique, I'm the founder and I'm the chief designer here at Sue Pellin Designs. I love designing applique quilts, but even more so, once I design those quilts, I love showing you quicker, easier methods, quicker, easier techniques to make those gorgeous applique quilts. I'm a wife, I'm a mother. I do public speaking at guilds and events and quilt shows, and I'm an author of 2 books on Rotary Cut Applique. So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today, is some Rotary Cut Applique techniques that can make your hand applique, your fusible applique, even your glue applique faster. And we are going to touch on glue applique and a quilt as you go technique during our demo segment. So stick around for that demo for sure. You don't want to miss that glue applique and that quilt as you go technique. So we're going to dive right into that. I just want to give you a little background information first and maybe ask you a couple more questions. So this is my family. We were at a party recently and all of us were together. Oh my gosh, the first time in so long. We're all together there. And this is my family established in 1990. That's when my husband and I got married. And this is my other family. This is the Sue Pellin Designs family. We have over here Penny. Penny's on with us. Penny, I got you again. I put another picture of you up there. And then we have Joanne, who is, I'm sorry, Penny is kind of our member coordinator. coordinator. She's our event coordinator. So she's the one that schedules everything in the membership and on our workshops and on my presentations to guilds, workshops for guilds. All of that goes through Penny. She is my right-hand person that keeps this company moving. Then we have Joanne, who keeps that product getting out to you in a timely manner. Joanne works at the warehouse in Worcester where we have all of our products. You've got me there, yours truly, Sue Pelland in the middle. And then Donna is our tech guru. She is amazing. And she keeps the back end of the membership going, the back end of the website going. She's just awesome. So that is my Sue Pelland Designs family. And we were established in 2009. Is that right, Penny? I can never remember the date we got started. But yeah, we've been going for about 15, 16 years, something like that. Okay, my mission as a company is to rid the world of applique anxiety and make applique fun again. I adore applique. I cannot tell you how much I look forward to sewing every day because I have this method called Rotary Cut Applique that makes my applique quilts just faster, easier. There's no tracing, there's no picky stuff, there's no cutting with scissors, and I don't have to piece perfect little points on my quilts. Applique is forgiving. I feel like applique is easier than any other quilt method because it doesn't require the precision that precision piecing does. So if you want to learn more about why applique is easier, even for beginners, you can go to my blog post about that topic. And I mentioned that yesterday as well. So Rotary Cut Applique, it's a way to cut applique that eliminates tracing and cutting with scissors. Bee, so glad that you're back again. Okay, excellent. Bee's one of our quilters who broke a hip recently, and I'm so thrilled to see you back here again. And Patty's on from Guatemala. Wonderful. Penny, I'm going to ask you to once again keep an eye on those comments, and if there's questions that you can't answer, I'm sure there's not too many, but if there's questions you can't answer, send me a text and I will get to those questions. Okay, so our Leaves Galore templates are one of the ways that we cut applique in a faster, easier way. With your rotary cutter, you can cut 4 layers at a time, and I fuse my fabric ahead of time. So everything is fused and ready to go. So it's so easy to put these applique designs on your background fabric, do a buttonhole stitch, a blanket stitch, a straight stitch, a feather stitch, any decorative stitch on your sewing machine works. So you don't need a special sewing machine to do this. If you don't have a good buttonhole stitch, as long as you have a straight stitch and a zigzag or a zigzag, you can do all straight stitch if you want to, but any decorative stitches work on fusible applique. So you don't need any special equipment for this, except maybe a set of my tools. Okay. Let's see. So that's the Leaves Galore template. They come in 3 different sizes. And you'll notice there's a 28 millimeter rotary cutter there. We didn't talk about that yesterday, but you'll absolutely need a 28, a small rotary cutter, not the smallest, but a small rotary cutter, because you can cut up to 16 shapes at a time, and you can get to designing and sewing so much faster. And to me, that's the fun part of the quilting phase, of the applique phase. So you want to be able to add lots of different applique shapes to your quilts. The more shapes you can make, the more variety in your quilts. Well, I've been working with these 2 sets of tools, and I added a 3rd set of tools recently, but I've been working with these 2, my core set of tools, for the past 15 years. And I'm still making unique and creative and just, I hate to say fabulous, but fabulous applique quilts just with these tools. And I want to show you how to do the same thing. So I'm going to do a demonstration on the Hearts and More tools today. And I've got that demonstration ready over at my demo station right behind me. So I'm going to be changing this slideshow over to the demonstration station so that you can see up close what I'm doing with that Hearts and More tool. Terrific. We got more people coming on, and fabulous. Penny, just keep me apprised of any questions and I'll keep on going. So you can make hand applique, Fusible applique and glue applique faster with Rotary Cut Applique, because all of those shapes, whether you're going to hand applique them, fusible applique them, or glue them down, you can cut those with your rotary cutter, and you don't have to do that tracing step in cutting with scissors, which can be really hard on your hands, especially if you suffer from arthritis, which I am starting to get in my hands. So it's giving me, it gives me the ability to cut in an easier way, in a more ergonomic way for me. So you saw that I had, oh, I should go back there. You saw that I have a rotating mat there. I've actually changed brands of my rotating mat. I actually have the Martelli mats now. I'm going to be using that Martelli mat when I am cutting out my applique shapes. Penny, could you check and see if rotating mats are in the Notions section of the website, or are they under cutting tools? I'm not sure if cutting mats are in the Notions section. Just checking on that because we do have a special on Notions. Penny, could you put in the chat also, I'm just going to keep asking Penny questions. Could you put in the chat the coupon codes for the Notions, which is school supplies with no space? Somebody yesterday couldn't get it to work. They were putting a space between school and supplies. It's just school supplies. So we'll write that for you in the chat. Okay, so I'm going to give you a brief session on using the Hearts and More tools to cut out more applique shapes. Yesterday, we did the 5 basic shapes that you can cut out 4 layers at a time with leaves galore. So if you missed that video yesterday, you can go back and watch it again, and you'll be able to see the 5 basic shapes that you can cut with leaves galore. If you're on my email list and you signed up for Applique School, I sent you an email this morning that had a picture of all the shapes you can cut with leaves galore, and then all the shapes you can cut with Hearts and More. So you can use that as a handy reference. And if you're not on my email list, go ahead and register so I can send you those pictures and send you the document that I sent out yesterday of the pros and cons of all the different applique methods. Okay, so there we go. All right, I just said that. I want to just be sure I remembered to say it, so I put it on the slides. Okay. Before I do that demonstration of the Hearts and More tools, do we have any questions out there from yesterday's class? Did you want clarification on any of the hand applique techniques? Pretty much we did hand applique and we did some rotary cut applique yesterday. So if you have any questions on those 2 topics, of course, we're continuing on. We were kind of in the middle of rotary cut applique. We're going to continue on with rotary cut applique, which is fusible applique, and then we're going to go to glue applique. Okay. Melinda says, if you're thinking of getting the bundle with the tools, get the one with the rotary cutter. I didn't think I needed another rotary cutter, but I learned yesterday when I tried to use my large one. Thank you, Melinda. That is so funny. The large rotary cutter doesn't work with my tools. It will not work with my tools. You will cut into your tool. You will be frustrated. You won't get clean cut curves. So you need the 28 millimeter rotary cutter. And if you don't have one, the quick change rotary cutter that's included in the set is the most amazing rotary cutter. And I'll show you how that works when I do this demonstration. So it doesn't look like we have any questions right now. So Fabulous Penny School Supplies is in the comments. I'm going to change to my demonstration station. I'm going to take off the slideshow. I'm going to try to get the demonstration station as my large picture. Wrong one. Okay, there we go. So there's my demonstration station. There's me over on the side. I'll probably I don't want to mute myself again, so I'm not going to remove me from the screen. But, and I do have some quilts behind me that I want to talk to you about too. Don't let me forget that. I will go over those quilts towards the end. Okay, so here I am going at the demonstration station, putting on my readers so that I can see what's in front of me. And I just want to briefly reiterate what we did yesterday. Yesterday, we cut these 5 basic applique shapes with our Leaves Galore tools. The tools come in 3 different sizes, so the shapes come in 6 different sizes when you have the tools. That's just the level one, right? When you're just learning the tools, level one is learning how to do the 5 basic shapes. If you're in a level 1 workshop with me, it's going to use one of these 5 basic shapes, and you'll learn those shapes, how to buttonhole stitch them, how to applique these basic shapes. When you get into a level 2 or a level 3 workshop, we're going to use these tools in all kinds of creative ways. It's not just about applique. We use these tools for making our quilting designs. Okay, we've marked the quilting designs on this. I have a whole series of quilting designs. I'm not sure you're going to be able to see them, but here's a whole series of quilting designs hanging up on my wall, including these beautiful feathers. You can't see that. It's too far off to the side. But yes, we have all different techniques for using the tools. So if it's a level 1 class, like my cork notebook cover, it's going to use the basic shapes. You're going to do small projects so you can get them done quickly to get you confidently cutting those curves. Taking workshops and valuing your education in quilting is all about building your skills and building your confidence so that you can make any quilt you want to make in the future with just a little bit of coaching along the way. So I've got my Hearts and More sample right here to show you the 9 basic shapes. These are your level 1 for Hearts and More. Our level 1 courses have Hearts and More shapes like these that are simple and easy to cut. So how do I cut all of these applique shapes with these crazy looking tools? They look like a little flip-flop or something like that. Well, these tools make all of these basic shapes by cutting on the fold of your fabric. So yesterday we cut 4 layers of applique shapes at a time. Today we're going to be cutting 2 layers at a time because we're cutting our applique shapes on the fold of our fabric. Here is the Hearts and More 4-piece set. The Hearts and More 4-piece set and the Leaves Galore 3-piece set. These are the bundles that we were talking about. The basic bundle has these 2 sets and a set of the Hearts and Leaves Grace True Grips. You do need grips on your tools to prevent those tools from slipping as you cut. And we have teeny little hearts and big hearts, teeny little leaves and big leaves to go on the backs of your tools. They come in the True Grip package, and this is our basic set right here. So this is the starter set or the Fast Start package. Then we have the Fast and Fabulous package, which includes my 2 books and my Quilter's Chalk line. And we'll talk about that in the workshops. We're not going to get into the Quilter's Chalk line right now. And then we have the fabulous Fusible package, which includes your Fusible and your applique pressing sheet as well. So enough about the tools. I want to show you how we're going to use those tools. So these tools are used by folding your fabric and cutting that fabric on the fold with either one end of the tool or flip it around and use the other end of the tool. So on this tool, you also have 2 sizes of every single shape, just like you did on the Leaves Galore. And there's 4 of these tools. So there's 4 of these. There's 3 of the Leaves Galore. All 4 of these come in one set. Or we do have smaller sets. If you just want to take one workshop, that workshop might only require 1 tool. So you can buy a small set of the bigger tools, a small set of the smaller tools, but you're going to want every one of these tools to pick and choose from any workshop that I offer. Now, we also have a workshop coupon that's valid just today and tomorrow, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. The workshop coupon is my way of encouraging you to start on that applique journey. I want you to fall in love with using these tools the way that all of our members have. Now, if you are hesitant, if you're not sure you want to do Fusible applique, I'm offering you the opportunity to take a workshop at a discount just to see what it's all about. But if you know you want to do this method. If you know you want to perfect these skills, then the membership is the best place for you because you get one workshop every month to perfect all of these techniques. So let's start with hearts and more. So our hearts and more tools, I tried to pick a blue fabric because the tools do have an orange edge. So hopefully you're going to be able to see that pretty well. And I'm just going to raise up my table so that you can see. Now I can just twist that table right up. You see me in the side there. So you can see that a little closer. It's a little harder for me to cut up high like that, but I want you to get the best view possible. So I'm putting it up really high. You're probably going to see me struggling with cutting because I have to cut down low in order to do it well. Okay, so I hate to struggle with cutting when I'm giving you a demonstration, but I want you to really be able to see it. So with this fabric, I did not put Fusible on the fabric today because one of my goals today is to teach you some glue applique. So I want to do this without the Fusible on the fabric so we can practice glue applique today. But that's not the way I normally do things. Normally, I use fabric that has Fusible on the back so that I can immediately fuse those shapes onto my background fabric and get them stitched with my buttonhole stitch. But today we're gonna talk a little bit about glue applique. And so I want to give you that method as well. So this fabric does not have Fusible. All right, I'm finding that the blue is not really good on this mat. Let's see if I can turn to that purple fabric for the demonstration so you can see it a little bit better. This one does have Fusible, that's okay. I'll just cut a few shapes out of the unfused fabric. So the first step in cutting your applique shapes, in this case, I've fused my fabric, and then I'm going to fold that fabric with the Fusible together. I'm just going to place that tool on the fold of the fabric, and that's how I'm going to cut my applique shapes. Now I picked up a tool with no grippies on the back, so I'm not going to use that one. It doesn't work well. I'm going to go over here and grab another tool. I've got 5 or 6 of them hanging up here that has the heart true grips on the back. I could tell immediately that I wasn't going to be able to cut easily because of the awkward angle that I'm at. Without those grippies, there was no way I was going to get around that shape without the tool moving. So I'm going to cut right around the shape using the 28mm rotary cutter. And then I've got a beautiful, perfect little circle that's ready to applique. So you can see how fast and easy these tools are to use, and I can really utilize my fabric well. So I can't take the time to go through all the shapes today, but I want to show you that by folding and cutting with different areas of your tool, you're going to get all different applique shapes. And this is a shape that I love to show you. This is the shape that my Magical Garden crew is doing on their block 7 of my Magical Garden that has these beautiful interwoven hearts. So I've just cut out a heart with curved edges, and now I'm going to turn my tool over and cut the center of that heart with curved edges, just like this with my rotary cutter. So you can see why you need the little rotary cutter. And again, the angle that I'm cutting at is so awkward. I just made a very awkward little notch on that piece. But you know what? This is Fusible applique. If my quilt, if this piece, let me show it to you. If this piece has a little notch out of it, first of all, it's not really going to show because you're going to buttonhole stitch that, but I'm actually going to put a little patch in there, fuse that down, buttonhole stitch the edge, and you're never going to notice that I made a little mistake because of my awkward cutting position. So these applique shapes happen so fast and easily because of the system that I've developed for rotary cutting my applique. But today we want to talk about that glue applique. So let's go ahead and just cut a couple of your little leaf or petal shapes. I'm going to go to a bigger tool for that. Again, I need a tool that has grippies on it. I don't know why I have all these tools out that don't have grippies on the back. Okay. So I'm going to cut out a leaf shape. You can also cut leaf shapes with these tools, anything from a football shape down to a nice little leaf. I don't normally do leaf shapes this way because I have my Leaves Galore tools that I can cut my leaves 12 to 16 at a time instead of one at a time. But I want to have these little leaves so that we can talk about the glue applique method. All right, so let's get into that glue applique method next. You see how by varying where I place the tool on the fabric, I can get all different sizes of these shapes. So there are so many different sizes of leaves on the end of this tool because you can place the tool in lots of different ways on that folded fabric. So that is the quickie demonstration on the Hearts and More tools. And I want to go back over here to you and to that slideshow just for a second, because I want to make sure that I covered what I needed to in the Hearts and More demo. Yep. Okay, good. So that would be our next slide, but we're not there yet. Okay. So now that we have our shapes cut with either our Hearts and More or our Leaves Galore tools, let's go ahead and try that glue applique technique. And I'm going to tell you where it's appropriate, because it's not always appropriate and it's not always easy. It's definitely not the easiest method. That would be Fusible for sure. But there are places where I can use it. So yeah, let's go through a few of these slides and then we'll get right back to that demonstration. So yes, hand applique is super nice when you have all the time in the world, and maybe you want to make an heirloom quilt, a once in a lifetime quilt, or maybe you do hand applique all the time because you're one of those people that has the skill and the time to do that well. That's fabulous. I am not trying to convince anybody to give up their hand applique techniques, but it's not a technique that I use very often because of that time crunch factor. I just don't have the time. But Fusible applique is my go-to method. It's absolutely where I shine because I just love that technique so much, and I can make beautiful applique quilts with this technique. We talked a little bit yesterday about the way that machine applique has been elevated, and I really feel it's because of machine quilting. Now that machine quilting has a really strong following and a strong place in the market, a strong place at the quilt shows, you see a lot of machine applique. In fact, more than hand applique. Machine quilting, more than hand quilting, much more than hand quilting. Well, now that machine quilting has risen in popularity and in quality and in skill level, now the competitions are all about the quality of that machine quilting. Well, machine applique has risen to that same level. So when I entered this quilt, the My Magical Garden, the original quilt for My Magical Garden class, this quilt got a perfect score, 100-point score from one of the judges at the Vermont Quilt Festival. Now, I'm not saying that to pat myself on the back, although I'm pretty proud of this quilt. But no, that's not the point here, and I don't want to come across that way. I made that point because some of you aspire to making quality quilts that are going to be show worthy. I want to let you know that we can make quality quilts that are show worthy with this technique. And this is my pride and joy, this quilt, because it is show worthy. It's gorgeous. And I think the quilt that I showed you yesterday, that was on the back wall yesterday, I didn't take it down. It's behind my mint chocolate quilt. That one is show worthy. It was a joint venture between me and the machine quilter. I'm just the appliquer. Obviously, that's a big part of the quilt, but it truly is a marriage between applique and quilting. And I have machine quilters that I rely on for my show quilts. Okay. I am not competing because I want to win awards. That is not at all the case. I'm really competing and putting my quilts in shows so that they can be seen, so that people know that Rotary Cut Applique is a respectable form of applique that can get into, just getting into these shows is a huge honor. So if you aspire to that level of quilting, terrific, we can get you there. If you just want to be able to make quilts for your grandchildren, fabulous. I can get you there quickly with Fusible Rotary Cut Applique. So it all depends on where your goals are and what your desires are as an applique quilter. But I want to let you know that no matter what your goals are, we can get you there. Okay, even if you are, you wouldn't be adverse to applique because you wouldn't be here. But even if you have a little bit of that applique anxiety, right? If you have a little bit of applique anxiety, we can get you there. All right. So this is my go-to method. It's Fusible Rotary Cut Applique. Glue applique is reserved for those rare situations when the pros outweigh the cons. So what do I mean by that? Well, I want to show you that glue applique demonstration so that you'll know about the pros and cons. I didn't even list the pros and cons of glue applique out long form on that pros and cons list because glue applique is such a minor part of my applique repertoire. In fact, I haven't been using it for very long because I don't love it. Really, the cons almost always outweigh the pros. But there are times when I do use it, and I'll show you those times in this short demonstration. Okay. So glue can be an inexpensive alternative to fusibles when your applique pieces are really large. So I'm showing you a quilt here that I made with fusible applique. I did not do this one with glue applique. If I were to make this quilt again, I'd probably do it with glue applique, and I'm going to tell you why. There's a couple of reasons why, and this is where the pros outweigh the cons in this specific circumstance. The pieces are so large that it's going to take a ton of fusible for this quilt. In fact, I think it takes more than a 10-yard package of Misty Fuse, which is $30, to make this quilt. If I glue the edges of my applique shapes, they're not going to glue down as well as the Misty Fuse. But if I'm really careful with that glue, I can eliminate the fusible altogether, and I can get that edge that needs to be stitched, and it's only that one curved edge that needs to be stitched. I can get that glued down securely enough so that I can stitch it, and then that glue is going to wash out. So there's no glue whatsoever in the quilt. So it's going to be a softer, more luxurious end quilt. But the stitching is going to be a lot harder, right? Pros and cons. You've got to weigh what's more important to you. So there's going to be a cost savings. There's going to be a softness savings, even though Misty Fuse is super soft. This quilt is 100% and sometimes 200% fused because there's an overlap between those pieces. So not only are you fusing the whole clamshell, but they're overlapped by about 1/2 inch. So there's a lot of overlap here, and there's a lot of double layers of fusible in fabric. So that's one case where the pros outweigh the cons. No worries, Doreen. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. No worries, Doreen. You are a little late. No problem. You can go back and rewatch this, and welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. So we just started our glue demonstration and explanation of why we're only going to use glue applique in some really specific circumstances. Now, I do have a member of my My Magical Garden group, and I hope you're here today. And she wants to put on a nice big border with some half circle scallops around that border. And they're big, big circles. She's making those with my Rings and Things tools. We haven't talked about Rings and Things because we don't have a whole lot in our work. We don't have any workshops right now for Rings and Things. We're just developing those patterns now. So if you're going to do something with Rings and Things, you might want to try the glue applique method so that you don't have to fuse large pieces of fabric for large circles, hearts, all kinds of different shapes. Now, if you're if your pieces are very large, that's what we were talking about, I'll want to use the glue. If my pieces are very long, I might want to use the glue. So these pieces are large and long because they're big, long strips of wavy fabric. That's where the glue is going to come in really, really handy, because I only want to glue that little wavy edge down and stitch that down, and then I don't have any fusible on the rest of that quilt, and the glue is going to wash out. So there is one circumstance where the pros are going to outweigh the cons. Gail, hey, good to see you. Okay, we've got some more people coming in, and we're just starting our glue applique demonstration. So here's one more circumstance, very special circumstance, where I would use glue applique. I don't know. This one's iffy, and I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to try it. The next time I make this quilt, and there is a workshop on this quilt coming up, I'm going to try the glue applique method. I'm not sure I'm going to love it, but I'm going to try it. Okay. When your fused applique edges go over a texture, maybe you've pre-quilted your fabric and you want to add some applique after. That's definitely a thing. I teach that method in some of my workshops. Or if you have a lot of seam allowances in your quilt and then you want to applique after. And that's what happened with this quilt. These are all 9 patches that are sewn together as a quilt top. And then I add the melons to those 9 patches. So the melons are fused over the 9 patch seams. And there's a lot of seams that it crosses. So sometimes you're going to get the texture of the seams showing through the fused applique. This is a special circumstance where glue applique might work better. The problem with that is it's one of those cons again. The glue is not going to hold the edges down as well. It's not going to be easy to buttonhole stitch those edges. You're going to be fighting those edges to keep them going nice and flat under your presser foot, as they would go with Fusible. They're going to be perfectly flat and secure for stitching. These are not going to be as secure, and you risk getting bubbles and lumps along the edges of your applique. So I have to try it, and I'm going to tell you right now, glue applique is not my forte because I don't respect it the way I do Fusible applique, but I want to try some more of it. Okay, so I'll do a little bit of it here with you today just so you can see the technique. Okay, so those are 3 circumstances where I might use my glue applique, and I'm going to show you 1 or 2 of those methods right now. So I mentioned, hold on, let me just take a drink here. Indiana, Georgia. You and Gail are in the same guild, Melinda. Terrific. All right, fabulous. Okay, so let's go to our demo station. Let's get that demo station over on the big screen. We're going to take off that. We're going to move around our pictures. I'm going to try, hold on just a second. There we go. Okay, there doesn't seem to be a repeatable method for getting that picture on the big screen, but there we go. All right, one of the circumstances where I will use glue applique, I actually learned from this lady right here, Pauline Rogers from Australia, and she has this book, it's called the Quilt as You Go Handbook. In this method, she teaches you a way to put your quilts together that's very it's very clever in the way that you can put some quilts together with a quilt as you go method. So you'll notice that this quilt was done in 3 sections right here. 1, 2, 3 with big long seams. This is a perfect candidate for quilt as you go. And we're going to have a perfect candidate coming up soon for Quilt as You Go, and I'm going to be teaching that method when we do our temperature quilt. So I want to talk to you about the temperature quilt later, but I just wanted to point out that this Quilt as You Go method that I am going to be teaching is Pauline Rogers' method. Now, Pauline has this great set of Sasher tools. I really like this dressmaker Sasher collection. I'm pointing this out because it is in the notions category, and it has 4 different sashers, and the 1-inch sasher or the 3/4-inch sasher is going to be perfect for this Quilt as You Go method. I haven't decided which one I'm going to use yet, but they're both in this bundle. Now, Pauline also has a set of Mandorla templates that I just started playing with for applique that will add even more applique shapes to your abilities, a little further than what mine will do. However, I could definitely make these shapes with my tools, but her tools are made for making these rounded oval shapes. So it only makes one basic shape, but that rounded oval shape is a nice addition to what I can do with my tools. So that Mandorla set is something that I'm playing with. And I just love Pauline's tools. You'll notice I put all my little hearts on there to keep those tools from slipping. So here's my little kit for Quilt As You Go. And here are some different glues that I have tried. Now they're in this box because they're not the glue that I decided to use, but there's some nice applique glues out there. And if you already have one of these applique glues, you're going to be able to go ahead and use it. But I wouldn't use a glue stick type of a product because that's going to fray the edges of your applique as you're putting that on. You want something with this type of dispenser so that you can get tiny little dots along the edge of your applique. That's all you need is some tiny little dots of glue. So I like this product here, but I put it away because this glue container, this glue dispenser gets clogged and it's very difficult to clean. I had it soaking for hours the other day trying to clean it and was not very successful in cleaning it. I had to dig out the dried glue with a pin and it just was not easy. Now I have this glue based it from Roxanne, and this is the product that Pauline recommends, and I should have listened to her in the first place because she's an amazing quilter and I really love that product. And she's got her name all over it because she designed the packaging for that product. And I am missing my Roxanne glue based it. I can't find it. Well, this one will work just fine. It's just very low. There's not a whole lot of it left because I use it so often. So let me just see if I can get that glue down to the end where I need it while I search for that other glue. That's all right. I'm just going to ignore the fact that I don't have the right glue. I can always use that other applique glue if there's not enough in here. But Pauline designed the cover. So it has a little pin that goes into the end when it's placed on correctly. It goes into the end here. So this little fine end doesn't get stopped up. And I'm going to have a hard time showing you that because there's not enough glue in this package. All right. I'm going to use the other glue just for today until I find mine because the product is basically the same. It's just the dispenser. I like Pauline's a little bit better. So when would I use this applique method? I would use this applique method most often when I'm doing the quilt as you go technique. So we're going to cover two techniques in one, quilt as you go, as well as glue applique on a pre-quilted quilt. So I had some leftover fabric from a project. I had it quilted with a professional machine quilter, and then I cut it into squares in order to do my applique. The advantage of doing a quilt this way, now I sent it out to my professional machine quilter and had a big piece quilted, but the advantage of doing it this way is you can quilt your own small squares and get beautiful, intricate, gorgeous quilting done on your domestic machine in a very small area. Now, I would go up to probably a 20-inch size at least. I don't like doing little tiny things like this because there's a lot of seams to deal with after you do your applique, but it's certainly doable. And this is what Pauline teaches in her book. So all of her quilts are quilted in sections. After I quilt my section of fabric, and I've got a little pre-quilted piece right here, just a little quick sample. Then I'm going to design my applique design. Let's get her Mandorla piece on there because this is a terrible design, but I just want to show you the idea. All right, I'm just going to put a couple little pieces on. So I have a pre-quilted piece of fabric that you're going to quilt yourself, not buy it from Joann's like this one. Oh, that looks like a fish. Okay, let's go ahead with the fish design. And I'm going to take my, this one has Fusible on it. Let's just scrap that one. I'm going to take these unfused pieces and I'm going to put little dots of glue right along the edge. Now, this is Pauline's method. She just uses the dots of glue and she doesn't put them all too close. And then she uses that glued fabric and puts it down on her pattern, on her quilted piece to make a design. See there, I already made a mistake. I got some glue on my background fabric, but it washes right out with a nice face cloth with some water on it. So Pauline just does a few little dots of glue and then she'll put this down on her fabric. I like to spread out that glue. I like to use that tip and get that glue really spread out and really close to the edge, because the factor that's difficult with glue applique, first of all, it's very messy. And you really have to develop a system for doing this so you ensure that you don't get any glue on your quilt. I should be doing this on paper, off on the side like this. I should be doing this on paper. I'm going to use some little implements to keep this in place. And then getting it onto your quilt is difficult too. You have to place it just right and get it on there without having to move it, without turning your edges under. Okay, you see the drawbacks, the downfall, the hard part about this glue applique. But the positive parts about the glue applique, once you get those pieces placed, you can iron your pieces. I have a little ironing board off to the side there. I don't want to iron on this board, but I'm going to iron those pieces in place, which is going to dry the glue. And the glue does not seep up through your fabrics. That's why I like to use either the Roxanne glue based it or a glue that's made for applique. All right, so now I have enough glue in here because I can show you those tiny little dots. So a glue that's made for applique, because you know it's not going to seep through the fabric and you know you're going to be able to get tiny little dots. So yes, absolutely. This can now be stitched with your buttonhole stitch, your zigzag stitch, a straight stitch, whatever edge you want to put on this fabric. And then when you wash this quilt and the glue washes out, you have nothing to stiffen the hand of that fabric. So it's a great method. I will use it in the future, but I still prefer fusible applique. And why do I prefer fusible applique? Because I can design my pieces and put them all together. Make one piece out of these 8 separate petals so that I can apply them to my quilt as one piece. I can't do that with glue applique. This is a really important thing to me. Sometimes I'll put pieces together and I'll do some preliminary stitching anytime that I can get some stitching done when it's like this before I put it on my piece. So I prefer to have fused applique pieces that act as one piece. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different pieces to it, but now it acts as one piece so I can put it on my quilted background. Once I have my quilted backgrounds appliqued, and it's so easy to applique when it's in a small piece like this, then I'm going to put those pieces together either back to back or front to front. This is Pauline's secret. When you put these pieces together front to front, you're going to use a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. You're going to open up that seam and you're going to press these seams on the back, and you're even going to use your applique glue to get those seams nice and flat. Once that seam is pressed nice and flat, you notice there's batting and backing and everything else in here. But once you press that nice and flat, you're going to be able to cover that seam with a piece of fabric that you've made with Pauline's Sasher Tools. Now, there is a set of Sasher Tools. There's a 10-piece set and there's a 4-piece set. I'm looking at this piece right now, and it's wider than the 1 inch. And the 1 inch is the biggest one over here. I believe I used 1.5. So I would have to go to the bigger Sasher set, or you can buy those 1.5s individually. This is a 1 1/4 individually. Maybe that's 1 1/4. No, I used the 1.5 to cover up this 3/8 plus 3/8. That's a big seam allowance. There's 5 3/4 right there, right? So I'm using a bigger Sasher tool to cover over that seam allowance. And I hate to tell you, but I would take the time to stitch that on both sides by hand. If you designed this into your quilting pattern, you could include this as a quilting line by stitching it from the back. I'm also going to be using my glue to put the turned edge piece down on the back of my quilt. So I do this on the back, and then I have beautiful front to front joining. So you don't see any sashing on the front. If I do these pieces back to back, it's another technique that gives you a beautiful result, but you're going to have sashing on the front. Well, I have just given you the Pauline Rogers method in a nutshell. I mean, that was quick, but yes, the Sasher tool turns the edges, Jerry. Great question. Pauline Rogers. Yes, thank you. Hi, Dorothy from Rhode Island. Nice to see you. Okay, I just gave you Pauline Rogers' whole life's work and her whole genius that she has created in a 5 or 15-minute demonstration. It's wild. That's crazy. That does not give you the practical skills, but it gives you the overview of how you're going to accomplish her beautiful technique in a fraction of the time and making every step of that process easier for you. Well, I'm going to modify Pauline's method. I'm not going to do block to block. All of those sashings, getting corners to match up. Oh my gosh, you know, it sounds easy. But those technical details, when you actually go to put those sashed pieces together, getting them to line up right, it's quite a bit of work in there. And that's what her specialty is. She can teach you that. I'm going to use it in a modified method so that I have very few seams. And they're going to be very few strategically placed seams. So let's talk about that in a picture of my temperature quilt. And I moved that picture out of the rotation here. It's at the very end. So if you just bear with me, close your eyes. I'm going to click through. Oh, you're not seeing the slides. I'm going to click through the slides over here on my side screen until I get to that one slide that I want to show you with the temperature quilt. Okay. Here's the temperature quilt that I'm going to be making with my cherry wood hand dyed fabrics. Has anybody seen a temperature quilt before? This is the one that I designed. You'll notice the colors of my fabric are different than the colors on the screen because I designed that in EQ before I had the fabrics. Now I've scanned in all the fabrics. I need to add them to EQ so I can put them into that picture. But these are the colors that I'm going to work with in my quilt. Aren't they gorgeous? And if you don't know cherry wood fabrics, they look like suede. Oh, that's a terrible picture because I've got all my raw edges. They look like suede because they're hand dyed fabrics. They've got a lovely texture and color. And oops, I just removed that picture. Let me put that back on the screen. Okay. They have a gorgeous texture and color. And Carla, the owner, and I picked out this collection for a standard kit. Okay. For a standard quilt for the a standard kit for the temperature quilt. So these are all the colors that we chose. And we're going to be making up a kit with a gray suede background. So this is the background that I chose. So I have a question for all of you that might be thinking about making the temperature quilt. Would you want the whole kit with the background to make it just like mine? Or would you just like the colors and pick your own background? So you could do a black or a gray or a white, and the cost would be less because Carla's fabric is $20 a yard because it is hand dyed in small batches. So the kit is 22 half yards. So that's 11 yards of fabric at $20 a yard. If we're going to add the background fabric, it's going to be a higher price kit. So let me know if you want the background in your kit, or should I could sell it separately. That way you can have this fabric if you want it, but you're not required, or you don't have to buy it, and you don't have to spend that extra money for your background. Okay, I think I've just made the decision. We'll make the kits without the background, and then I'll have some background fabrics separately. So let me talk to Carla about that. We'll see if we can work that in. The whole kit with the background, Val, okay. With background, please, Elaine. Okay, you like the gray, Betty? Terrific. Okay, so we will be having a pre-order on the kits if you want to join us for the temperature quilt. I'll talk about that in a little while because I want to show you how you can get involved in the beta version of this temperature quilt. And we'll talk about what a beta version is in just a minute, but let me remove that so I can get back to the slide that I want you to see. All right. Here we go. Where are we? Okay. I did the glue demo. Here I am now at my next slide. And there we go. So I have been teaching. What size is the quilt? Val, I don't have an answer for you right now because I don't have EQ open, and I'll have to figure that out. It's not a standard bed size. It's the size that was right for 31 days in January. Okay, so I will get those sizes. We'll get more information to you when we get started with the sign up for the temperature quilt. All right. Okay. So after teaching quilting for 25 years, I know, not quilting, sorry, after teaching applique for 25 years, I hate to say it, it's aging me, but I've been teaching quilting for longer than that. But after teaching applique for 25 years, I know that Rotary Cut Fusible Applique with Misty Fuse gives you the best results with the shortest learning curve. Now, I want an amen or a hallelujah out there from all of my members that have told me that now they do applique my way, they wouldn't do it any other way. So if you feel that way, just like I do, give me a hallelujah. I don't know how to spell hallelujah, so maybe give me an amen. Okay. You prefer a bit smaller quilt as a wall hanging. Okay, Val, you can change the size of your leaves and do it smaller. Myrna, amen. Jerry, amen. Thank you. Dorothy, love Misty Fuse. Irene, woohoo. Okay, I like that better. Give me a woohoo. I'm a religious person, and saying amen to a quilting technique just felt wrong. So, okay, give me a woohoo out there. All right, or amen. It's all good. You love Misty Fuse. You wouldn't do it any other way, Betty. Thank you. Absolutely, Wendy. Thank you so much for those testimonials. I love it. Woohoo, Patty. So I want to give you the best results possible with the shortest learning curve. That is my goal. So when I asked you yesterday, how much time do you get to devote to sewing every day? The majority of you said under an hour to sew every day. Now, there were some people that have, they're retired or they don't have families at home anymore. They really have taken applique as their outlet for themselves. And maybe they quilt all day or half the day, like my mom. That's fabulous. I am so pleased that you have time to do that and you feel that wonderful satisfaction of getting projects done. But the majority of you told me that you have under an hour to devote to sewing every day. And boy, amen to that. I get that. I probably have about, on average, 21 minutes. That's what I've been trying to do, is 21 minutes in 2021. And gosh, I wrote an email yesterday and I said, I'm going to get my 21 minutes in today. And the time got away from me and I didn't get it done. So Amy says she tries to sew for 15 minutes a day. She's juggling work and home and all kinds of things. And 15 minutes is all she can devote to quilting every day. Well, by the way, Amy made this gorgeous My Magical Garden quilt. She was one of our first in our 9-month program. Amy's been with me. This wasn't her first project. I'll show you her first project. She was one of the first to finish this quilt in our 9-month online course in 2018. So it did take her 9 months, but she finished it in that 9 months by working 15 minutes a day. Now, I'm sure there were days where she really got into it and probably spent a little bit longer with her buttonhole stitching. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. And I haven't asked Amy. But you know what? Amy's making a second quilt. Isn't that amazing? She just impresses me so much, as all of you do that have been working with me. So that was not her first class with me. This was her first class. That's Amy right there. And this is my friend Kristen, who took this workshop with me at Machine Quilters Expo. That's Clever Clamshells. And that's one of the workshops that we have as a recorded workshop in the membership. I offer it frequently because it's a great level 1 introductory class to Hearts and More. But it's also in the membership as an on-demand. You can watch it anytime. So Amy and Kristen took a 4-hour workshop with me called Clever Clamshells at Machine Quilters Expo. Now, I know that you also, just like Amy, you have families at home, you have friends, you have jobs. They're all competing for your time. Not everybody, but a good number of you. It's easy to let a day or even a week and sometimes a month go by before you do something creative that really feeds you, that really sustains you, because you're doing something for yourself, taking time for yourself. And you see how just the thought of that, oh my gosh, it just brought this calm over me in this time when I'm supposed to be excited and getting you excited about this. Having time to myself is just like a breath of fresh air. I take a deep breath, everything relaxes, and I say, okay, I've got 21 minutes where I can sew. Now that often leads into more time because I get in the zone. And once you're in the zone, sometimes you can spend more time, or you want to spend more time. Sometimes you can't. So when you do make the time for yourself, wouldn't it be nice if you could feel more creative during that time? If you could feel more productive during that time? If you can feel more confident because of that time that you took to yourself to perfect your sewing skills, to perfect your applique skills, to just get something done. All right, that's what I want to be there for you. I want to be the place or the person or the group that you can come to when you need to have that time to yourself. So what do I mean by yourself? But I'm saying that we're going to be there to support you. So let me explain what I'm talking about. So I'd love to know where your applique skills are now. Yesterday, you rated yourself as either a level 1 or a level 2 or a level 3 appliquer. Were you just admiring applique quilts and you really wanted to make them, but you weren't really sure how to do it? You didn't know where to start and you didn't really know anything about Rotary Cut Applique. Well, now you do. So on a level 1, I would consider you a level 1 appliquer if you're ready to get started. We have level 1 workshops which teach you the very basic techniques. So that's what I consider level 1. You might have done applique before, but you've never done Rotary Cut Applique before. So even if you have crazy applique skills in other ways, if you haven't done Rotary Cut Applique before, I'd still consider you at level 1. You're going to progress lickety-split. I mean, you're going to go fast through this process, but you have to have the basic building blocks to the Rotary Cut Applique. You have to learn to cut those curves, and that kind of brings you back to being a beginner for just a short time until you gain those skills. then you skyrocket right back up to your level 2 or 3 that you're at now. Okay. If you are a level 2 appliquer, you've done some applique, but you want to do more. And if it were faster, you'd put a whole lot more applique into your quilts. So you already have a lot of applique skills, but you don't have rotary cut applique skills again. So I would take you back to level 1 for a class or 2 until you get the cutting technique, because that's the level 1 skill right there, is all about the cutting. If you progress quickly and you understand the cutting and you get it and you can get it like that, you move immediately into level 2 and 3 classes, which are the creative classes, the design classes, the color classes, all of those classes I call level 2 or 3. Just broaden your horizons on what you can do with your tools. They're the machine quilting classes. They're the free motion classes. And all of those types of classes are offered in our workshops, but you have to get through that cutting phase first to get up to that level 2 or 3. Once you've done the basic cutting classes, 1 or 2 or maybe more, depending on your current rotary cutting skill level, then you can progress very quickly and take any class you want to take. All right, so you've got some amazing skills if you're at level 3, but you want your applique to be faster. You're open to learning something new. You're open to being a beginner again just for a couple of days until we can get you up to speed with rotary cutting your shapes. Then you're good to go. You're right back up at level 3. All right. Okay, so Ahead of the Curve membership, that is one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about today, so you know what your next step is if you want to really embrace this method. If you want to play with the method yourself, you just need to grab a set of tools. You can start playing on your own. But what I know happens, because I've been teaching this method for years, I've been selling the tools for years at quilt shows. Now, I'm not going to do quilt shows anymore. This is my new method of getting these tools out to you, is teaching online. But when I go to quilt shows, I sell a lot of tools. People go home with these tools. And then I get emails saying, or comments over here on the screen saying, I have all your tools, but I've never used them. Because it's that applique anxiety that creeps in. You look at the tools on the wall, they look really good, but they look a little bit intimidating and you don't know where to start. I want to take you through a systematic process of learning every stage of those tools. First of all, the cutting for all of the 14 basic shapes. Then we get into unusual uses of the tools. We get into all the level 2 and 3 classes of using the tools for serpentine and scalloped edges, using them for quilting designs. We have color classes. We even have some piecing classes that incorporate using applique and piecing in your quilt. So this membership gives you a well-rounded quilting education with a basis of applique for all the quilts. I find applique easier than piecing. So I piece a whole lot less and I applique a whole lot more. And that's what you're going to see represented in my quilts. So this quilt on the screen right now, the Ahead of the Curve membership, this is our logo. Because I chose this logo because it's kind of modern and it's kind of fun, right? The tools are kind of modern and they're kind of fun. But you can also do your own machine quilting on this quilt. That's included in the class. We do a strippy piecing method that's super simple. So we do a little bit of piecing, but it's easy piecing, right? And it's a very small project. So you can get it done in 1 or 2 evenings. Super, super fast and easy project. So that's the philosophy in Ahead of the Curve. Ahead of the Curve is short little projects that you can get done in a short period of time. And I consider them stepping stones, right? Little stepping stones on the path to getting you where you want to go to be that level 3, that top quality quilter, that applique artist. Okay. So recently I started boxing. 55 years old and I started boxing. Silly, silly, silly. I don't box. I don't hit anybody, but I do work with a bag and I've been training with a personal trainer. This is not my personal trainer. This is my daughter and we are boxing together, which is so cool. So why did I start boxing? because my daughter, who has never exercised in her life, I mean, she just doesn't love exercise. She went to boxing and she said, Mom, you have to come. You're going to love it. The community is amazing. Everybody is so supportive of each other. You can go to a women's only class and feel comfortable, and you'll be surrounded by other women that get it. They don't have the perfect bodies. It's not a high pressure gym. It's not a boot camp where people are just crazy into fitness. This is a learning environment where they're taking you from where you are to where you want to go. This is what my daughter's telling me. She's in her 20s and I'm in my 50s, and we're going to the same boxing class and we have the same trainer. It's not a personal trainer. I didn't want to get into that level of expense, right? But it's a group coaching session where she has women's classes that we take. And I'm telling you, I've never felt better in my life. I have never enjoyed exercise ever. And now I do, because I've got a great trainer and I've got a great community. Well, I just thought of this last night. This was a slide that I made last night. I just thought of this. And how does this relate to quilting? Well, I want to know if you need a few sessions with a great coach to get you off on the right foot. If you do, then I've got you. I want to be that coach for you that gets you off on the right foot. And I want to provide you with that community that's going to encourage you to stick with the program and get over the hurdles, the hard part, until you feel great and you have an incredible amount of confidence and you could do anything that you want to do. But you know what? You might stick around for the community. You might not. You might get what you need and then be off on your way, and that's perfectly fine. But there's a lot of ladies here right on this screen here, a lot of people that are commenting. They've been with me from the beginning. They've been with me for 18 months in the Ahead of the Curve membership, because we came for the education, but we stayed for the community. So I just wanted to let you know what your next steps are if that is of interest to you. Okay, so your next step is to choose an applique project that isn't your dream quilt. Okay, there are dream quilts in this room. There are dream quilts on my website. There are dream quilts in your head that you can create with these techniques. But I don't want you to start there. If you start there, you might get discouraged because your dream quilt is probably pretty intense, right? Okay, I want you to start with that small stepping stone. And that's what's going to get you where you want to go, step by step by step. Now, there's not a whole lot of steps, and you can stop those steps anytime you're ready. So you're going to start with Fusible applique because it is easy and it's fast. If we start there, it's going to give you the confidence you need to then venture out and do some other applique methods if you so choose. But so many of my students, they say, I'm never going to do applique a different way. This is the best way to applique. And I totally agree with that. That's why I do what I do. I want to share that with the world. This is the best method of applique out there, and you are going to love it. So you're going to start with an applique project. That's easy. It's fusible. You're going to eliminate that applique anxiety that might have been stopping you from using those tools that are hanging up on your wall that you bought from me at a show, right? I want to get you using what you have in order to create the quilt of your dreams. Okay, so you're going to get into Ahead of the Curve to gain confidence and to gain skills, real technical skills. You're going to have a coach right there, and you're going to have a community that's going to support that transformation that you want to make. You want to go from admiring applique quilts to being an applique addict or an applique aficionado or an applique artist. And I want to bring you on that path step by step to your goals. Okay. Let's see. There we go. So what do you get with an Ahead of the Curve membership? The Ahead of the Curve members get to choose a new Fusible applique workshop every month. So it might be a quilt like this one. This is a simple level 1 class. We haven't taught this one yet. It might go on the list. I don't know. I have so many quilts. We always have to decide what's going to go up next. When we need a level 1 class, this one might pop up. This one is Unchain My Heart. It's a simple quilt made with 7-inch strips, so the piecing is easy. Then you can focus on the applique. That would be basically a 2-day project for the top and then the quilting. So that's a good 2-day class. When you choose one applique workshop a month, it's a complete applique workshop. So if it's a 2-hour workshop and we can get the project done in 2 hours, great. 2-hour workshop is what you get that month. If it's a 4-hour workshop, that's awesome. You get that workshop and we finish all of the instructions in 4 hours. Then you finish up at home. Of course, you're always at home. You're sewing in your slippers with me while you're taking these workshops. If it's a bigger project, like one of the ones in the background here, we have bigger projects that are going to be 2 classes, like the, what's that one called? Love, Love, Love. It's called Something Has Love in It. I can't remember the name of it right now. Enough Love to Go Around. Okay. Enough Love to Go Around is a 2-part class because we've got 2 different blocks to concentrate on. We've got about 8 or 10 different shapes in there. So that is a level 2 class with a couple of classes. That's one workshop, right? It doesn't matter how many sessions it is. It's one workshop because it's one project. So there might be times when you choose a very simple workshop. Cork notebook cover, super simple. You're going to get that quilt, you're going to get that piece done in your workshop. You're going to get it done in 2 hours. So that's a $29 class, right? Because it's only 2 hours. If you do something like the quilt that's on the screen, that would be probably a 4-hour class. So that would be $49. Then if you're going to do one of those 2-day classes that's pretty involved, that would end up being a 6-hour class. Even a 2-day class would be 8 hours or 12 hours. Those run into the $69, $99 range, okay? But it's one class for our Ahead of the Curve members. Okay, so the workshops are both live and recorded to fit whatever learning style you have. So if you can't come to class, that's okay. You're going to get the recorded videos afterwards so that you can make that quilt along with us in the community in short little segments where you can devote the time to do it. You get the recordings so you can do it in your own time. If you can be there live with us, even better. And if you can do some of one and some of the other, perfect. Okay, that's up to you. So we have 2 membership levels. So you get as much access to me and as much access to the community and as much access to the techniques as you need to reach your goals. So let me show you what the 2 membership levels are all about. Okay. All members, all students, no matter whether you're gold or platinum leaf level, you have access to 1 workshop a month and you get to register first. So those workshops right now are open to the public if they didn't fill with members. But here we're having a little membership drive right now, right? So we're going to get more members and there's going to be less availability in the workshops. In fact, eventually I anticipate there will be no availability in the workshops unless you're a member. But right now, you can still get into some of the workshops if you're not a member. And that's where I gave you the coupon for a discount off 1 workshop. If you just want to try it, you can do that. But for the same price as 1 workshop, you can get that free workshop a month and you can get all the other benefits of membership. So what are all the other benefits of membership? 16 technique videos. That's 2 sessions a month for 8 months. 8 months, yeah. 2 sessions a month for 8 months. So our Gold Leaf members, you're going to get an email every couple of weeks that says there's a new technique video out there. That goes on for 8 months, and that's your firm foundation. Those are your stepping stones, right? So once you complete that 8-month session, you'll know everything there is to know about using those tools in the basic technique ways, the basic ways. What if you don't stick around for all 8 months? Well, we're going to start with Leaves Galore. We're going to give you the basics of that. We're going to get into Hearts and More. And then there's Finishing School where you're going to learn binding and labels and color choices and some more general quilting as it relates to applique. So if you don't stick around for the whole time, you're still going to get a firm foundation in Rotary Cut Applique, just not as many techniques, right? So you're going to get 2 technique videos a month. Our Platinum Leaf members, that's a little higher membership level. Platinum Leaf members get all access all the time. They could watch all 16 videos tomorrow if you wanted to get that firm foundation in a fast, easy way. Okay? Gold Leaf members, oh, I spelled recorded wrong. Sorry about that. Gold Leaf members get 8 recorded workshops that are in our video library. It's called the Video Vault. And in that Video Vault, you're going to have 8 workshops that you can take anytime you want to. So say you look at the upcoming workshops and there's nothing there that appeals to you, or you don't have time, or it doesn't fit into your schedule, or you just don't want to do those quilts. Then you have 8 recorded workshops that you can go to. So if you miss a live workshop one month, go ahead and watch a recorded workshop. Now, if you can't take that live workshop because it doesn't fit your schedule, you can still sign up for the live workshop and get the recording sent to your email. The recordings that are sent to your email, that's your responsibility. You can keep that email. You can have that class forever if you keep that email link, right? But in the membership, you have easy access to everything. So we have 8 recorded videos that you can just click on that link and you can get to them. You don't have to go find the email. If you lost it, whatever, they're there for you. Our Platinum Leaf members have 21 recorded workshops. That's most of the workshops that I gave last year. I actually gave 26 or 28, Penny, I don't remember. We're going to have to come up with that number. There's 21 of those workshops. They're the ones that I really felt good about, that I really felt were self-explanatory enough that I didn't need to be there to help you. They're the easier workshops. Well, there's 21 of them, so there's some pretty complex workshops in there. But they are the ones that I felt were best for independent learning. Okay, so there's 21 recorded workshops for our Platinum Leaf members, and it's all access. You watch them any time of the day or night, whenever you want to. Now you have twice on Tuesdays with me, with just AOC members. So we will be doing things like the temperature quilt. We'll be doing things that are a little bit more educational and not just general information. Sewing in Slippers with Sue, that's open to the general public. That's not paying for a membership, so I don't give them nearly as much, right? We try to get them interested in applique. We try to show them different ways we can use Rotary Cut Applique, but the technical details of how to do this technique, that's in the membership, and it's in our Twice on Tuesdays. Twice on Tuesdays is where you're going to see all the new projects that we have coming up for the new workshops. So when we say it's time to register for your workshops for the month, I'm going to show you all those quilts to help you decide. You can ask questions, and Twice on Tuesdays and Sewing in Slippers, those are always Q&As where you can ask me questions. So you've got an hour with me every week. Even if you never took a workshop, you've got an hour with me every week to ask me any questions on your mind. Okay? We're going to give you an orientation session so that you can get used to the website. I wanted to do it here, but we just don't have time. I want to walk you through the website, and I want to show you how you're going to get around the member area. In the member area, there's your account, so you can easily upgrade, pause, or stop your membership at any time. You have complete control over that membership, okay? And that goes for all of you current members that might not have realized that, okay? You have complete control over your membership. You don't have to come to me with your tail between your legs and apologize and say, oh my gosh, Sue, I just don't have time to sew anymore. I hate to leave your membership, but could you please, please cancel me from the membership? Oh my gosh, that my heart goes out to those people that feel that way. I don't want you to feel that way. No embarrassment, no pressure. You do this for as long as you need to build those stepping stones into you having the confidence you need to make these gorgeous applique quilts. And then once you have that confidence, you can stick around for the classes, you can stick around for the community, you can stick around for the new special projects that I do, like the temperature quilt, but it's totally in your control, and you have total access to your account to upgrade, pause, or stop at any time. Now, if you do pause or stop, You're going to lose access to all of these things that are in the membership. But what you don't lose is the knowledge that you've gained, the workshops that you've taken, and I've sent you those emails with the videos. You have those. You can always access those. But if you want the quick access in the membership, the workshops that you didn't even take, there's 21 of them. You didn't take all of those workshops in the past year. You only took 12. So you have access to all of those things and all the techniques. And then twice on Tuesdays with me, all of that comes with membership. When you stop your membership, you stop access to all of those things. All right. So that's what the membership is all about. And some people, the membership is going to be perfect for them because they crave that community. They crave that time to sew with their friends. They want to get to know other people who love applique. They want to take the workshops with me, but they don't want to travel to the big old quilt shows and spend thousands of dollars on airlines and lodging and the classes themselves. You want to sew in your slippers with all of your supplies right there with you. Then the membership is perfect for you. But membership's not perfect for everybody. And I know that, or maybe it's not right for you right now. Only you get to decide. There is no pressure. I just wanted to offer you the opportunity to come and work with me and all these fabulous ladies that are in our Ahead of the Curve membership. I just want to give you that opportunity because it is like no other opportunity out there. For the price of one workshop a month, you get priority registration in the free workshop of your choice, plus all the other features. So gold level membership is $49 a month. Platinum level membership is $69 a month. Remember, my workshops are $29, $29, $49, and $69. So for the price of one workshop, you get that workshop, but you get all the other features. So if you're going to take workshops with me, why not join the membership? And you can stay for as long or as little as you want to. So we now have a yearly option. It's brand new. And I wanted to let our current members know that we have a yearly option now. We were able to figure it out. So I'm going to encourage you to do the yearly option only if you want to, if it makes it easier for you and you don't like seeing that recurring payment of $49 on your credit card or $69 on your credit card every month. If you just want to get it over with, you can get 2 months free when you sign up for a full year. That's always an option for you. So if you want to try a couple of workshops and then say, oh yeah, I'm going to love this, let's do a full year, then you'll get the 10 months. I'm sorry, you'll get all 12 months at the 10-month price. Okay, so that's $490 or $690. All right. So that is what we're offering this time. That's different from all the other times we've offered membership. And I've got one more thing that we're doing differently. So if you're not sure you want to register for a full year, monthly might be better for you. That way you're only committing to 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever you decide, and then you stop. If you do the yearly membership, you're committing for that year. You've already paid. I'm not going to give refunds if you're not available to come. It's just too complicated. You have to know yourself if yearly is right for you or monthly is right for you. Okay, so you get to decide. All right, as a fast action bonus, this is the exciting part that I could not wait to get to. If you join before midnight on Wednesday, tomorrow, September 1st, you're going to get the beta version of the temperature quilt. What does beta version mean? Well, a beta version of anything is the first time it's released. I've never made this quilt before. I'm going to be making it right along with you. I've thought it all out. I've got my plan. I've got everything done, but I can't make a temperature quilt until I know the temperature. We're going to do the high and low temperature every day for all of 2022. So I can't start my quilt until January 1st, 2022. But what I am going to do is I'm going to get you ready with the instructions, with how to plan your temperature quilt, with how to pick your colors for your temperature quilt. We're going to do a pre-order on the fabrics. And I'm going to show you whether you live in Hawaii or you live in Canada, how to take your temperature range and divide that range up between all the colors. So you still have the beautiful gradation of colors in your quilt. So that's a class in and of itself. And that's a class in addition to your free class every month. That's not going to count towards your free classes. Okay, so the Temperature Quilt is a special program. It's the beta version, meaning that you're going to be learning this along with me. As I make my quilt, you're going to be doing it with me. So it's a quilt along. That's what quilters call a quilt along. I'm calling it a beta version. And you're going to be able to give me your feedback. You're going to be able to be part of that process of developing this program so that in 2023, I'll go out to it with the general public. Right now, the only way you're going to get the Temperature Quilt is to be in the membership. Okay, because I don't want to put this out to the general public and charge $99 for it. Usually it would be $149, but the beta version, I'm going to do it $99. I don't want to go out to the general public with this until we've perfected it. So I'm going to offer this to you so that we can perfect it together. Now, I've done this quilt. It's just not arranged the same way. And I want to show you that I've done this quilt before. So it's not like you're going to get this something that's not going to work. It's absolutely going to work. And I know exactly how it's going to work. I've got it all planned. It's just not polished. Okay, it's not polished. So for current members, you're going to get the beta Temperature Quilt too. Okay, it's going to be in the member content. So you have to be a member to get it. I'm not going to be putting it out there on emails. I'm not going to be doing like I do with My Magical Garden or Belle en Rouge, my other courses that you pay for separately. There's a separate link to those. That's not going to happen. It's going to be all within the membership for the first year. The next year, I'll invite everybody, and we can do it that way. But this year, it's only going to be in the member content. So we're going to check in monthly. It'll be part of our check-ins for twice on Tuesdays, once a month. We'll check in on those people that are doing the membership quilt, okay? And throughout that year, I want to develop that Quilt As You Go method. I want to test it. I want to teach it in the beta version, right? So I'm going to be offering those free workshops throughout the year. Excuse me, as we get our segments done, because we're going to put January, February, and March together, and then we're going to quilt that section. Then we're going to do our next 3 months, and we're going to quilt that section. And the way the quilt is designed, it's got the sashing in it. So we're going to be able to put it together with the sashing and have a fully machine quilted quilt with the sashing done by machine because of the way I've designed this quilt. So if that sounds good to you, you're going to want to stick around with our membership. So we can pre-order your kits probably in October. I need to get together with Carla and figure that out. We're going to learn how to plan your temperature ranges from no matter where you live. I'm going to show you how I figured that out so you can figure it out for your temperature ranges in a typical year. We're going to do that in November. We're going to have a January 4th kickoff event. That means we're going to have a session where I'm going to teach you the block. Simple, easy peasy block. But I'm going to teach you the block. And then for the rest of the year, you're going to make 2 squares a day until we get this quilt finished. All right. So I am super excited about the temperature quilt made with cherry wood, hand dyed fabrics. And I hope you're excited about it too. So only those new members that sign up by September 1st are going to get the temperature quilt, because I need to plan ahead and know how many people are going to be here. My members that are already with me, you're in there. Okay. You're already in there because I know I can communicate with you, get you your kits, give you the workshop on how it's done. But only my new members that sign up by September 1st, you'll get the temperature quilt because I know you're going to be there with me through the beta. Okay. So that's why it's a limited time offer. I can't extend this because I need to know how many people I'm working with. So I am going to stick around. We've got 20 minutes left in our 2-hour session. I'm going to stick around and I'm going to answer all of your questions. Okay. So if you have questions about membership, if you have questions about the demos that I did today, Penny, we can go back through and you can let me know if there were any questions you couldn't answer. I haven't gotten any texts yet, so I don't think that there are anything. So yes, Carol, current members get the beta version. Absolutely. And I want to talk about the quilt behind me. So let me get rid of the screen share. Good. That's just me now. So yesterday in our background, we had quilts that would be in the membership as workshops. Today, I put up some new workshops. We're going to do the 4 flannel quilt blocks as 4 separate workshops because there are level 1 techniques in every one of those blocks. So I'm going to be teaching them individually as 4 separate workshops. We've got baubles coming up, and as well as the Christmas quilt that's laying down there. That is Starstruck. So baubles and Starstruck are our next 2 workshops. So those people that are getting in new are new members. They're going to be able to choose from baubles or Starstruck for the next month. We do have enough love to go around on the calendar for this next year. Penny and I have put together an entire year of programming for you. So we know what we're teaching for the next year, roughly. We don't know exact dates yet, but we do know the classes that we're going to be offering this year. So Penny and I are prettying that up, and we're going to get it out to the members soon so that you know what that next year is all about. So if you do want to sign up for the yearly version and you've paid for the whole year up front, you'll know which workshops you're going to be able to choose from. Okay. Now behind me over here is my mint chocolate quilts. Now, many of you started with the mint chocolate quilt before membership was a thing. That's why we started the membership, is those people that did mint chocolate with me said, what's next? What are we going to do next after our 90-day mint chocolate quilt was done? Well, that 90-day project was a little ambitious, and not everybody got it done in the 90 days, but you had the plan. You knew what you needed to do, and then you were off on your own. And some of you still didn't finish that quilt because I kind of let you loose on your own, right? So the temperature quilt is the exact same block, but it's arranged differently. You're going to have 2 leaves going this way in a V shape, and that's going to make the columns for each month. And there's going to be a sashing between each month so we can separate the months. Let me go back to the picture if I can find it. Okay, hold on. Let's see if I can share again. I want to find that picture so I can explain to you how it is the same. Okay, yes. Penny said you can't use the coupon in the same order, the 2 coupons in the same order. You're correct. You'll want to do the coupon for the discount on the workshop in a separate order. And our Head of the Curve members, you'll want to put anything that's not in the notions category in a separate order. If that gives you 2 shipping fees, we'll refund the shipping fee. Okay. Yeah, the coupons are tricky, and we can't get 2 coupons to work with 1 order. It's just not possible. So you'd have to do your notions at 21% discount separate from everything else with your 11% Curves Ahead membership discount. So those new members, I didn't tell you that we are doing a membership discount as well on purchases. So you always have that possibility. So I'm sticking around so you can ask me anything, but let me see. Yeah, there we go. There's the temperature quilt. So do you see how it's the same pattern? It's the same block, but they're set in V's, in columns. Okay. So the technique is very, very similar. If you've done mint chocolate, you could absolutely do the temperature quilt, but there's a lot more to the temperature quilt in the planning phase, how to get your colors that way, right? So that's more of what you're going to learn rather than just the technique for the block. That's easy. Anybody could learn that in 20 minutes, right? So there we go. So there's the temperature quilt. I'm excited about it too. I can see a lot of people that are getting excited about it. Okay. What is the latest on the Tula Pink quilt? Okay, I'll talk about the Tula Pink quilt, definitely. Hoping you will repeat the cork notebook. You can't manage it this fall. Okay, I always repeat the cork notebook. And Elaine, you are a platinum member. You have it in the membership already. You can watch it anytime. But yes, I love it when you work with me and you take the live workshops. But yes, Elaine, we will do it again. It'll probably be a while, because I've done that one to death and so many people have done it already. Okay. So I want to answer all of your questions. So I see Kathy Hansel has a question. What's the latest on the Tula Pink quilt? Well, the latest on the Tula Pink quilt is, let me remove this so you can see me. I have it in 2 sections. I have a second one in 2 sections. I want to make that quilt as you go. So I'm quilting it in 2 separate sections and then putting it together with one big long seam on the diagonal. So that is a little too beta for me. That's a little too different from the techniques that I'm comfortable teaching. So yes, that quilt will happen in February as a block of the month, as a quilt along, separate from the membership. Now, I know a lot of my members also want to do the quilt alongs, but it's a separate payment. It's a separate, totally separate thing, right? So our platinum members are going to get half off of that project. I don't know what the cost of that project is going to be yet, so I can't tell you. But if you want to do the Tulip Pink quilt with me, there will be a kit. There will be a quilt along starting in February. But that complicates matters here where we're talking about membership because it's not a membership benefit. Okay, it's a totally separate course. All right, I hope that answers the question. Good. Yeah, it does. Oh my gosh, Elaine, you want to do everything. You want to do the cork notebook kit. You want to get the Tulip Pink kit. And you want to get the temperature kit. So you're going to have a busy new year. Absolutely. It's doable. It is doable. Those are 3 very manageable projects in 1 year, right? The temperature quilt's probably going to be 10 minutes a day. The Tulip Pink quilt is more involved. Definitely. That's going to be your main project for the year. And the cork notebook cover, that's a weekend, right? Or an evening. So absolutely, those are very, very manageable options. Tony, are the critters in the membership? I use the critters as a bonus, Tony. And right now I'm doing the temperature quilt bonus. If that's something that really appeals to you, let me think about it, because technically I don't know if I can do the 2 bonuses. So let me ask my tech guru. Okay, and then we'll figure that out. I often do the critters in my Facebook Lives. So you're definitely going to see the critters in the Facebook Lives. And if you hunt and peck through the Facebook Live videos, they're all there. So you already have them. But yes, there is an easy way to get them to them through the membership. And I'll have to check to see if that's available. Okay. The bonus this time is not the critters. It's the temperature quilt. Okay. If you'd rather have the critters bonus and not the temperature quilt, then I can do it because it's a separate thing and I can give you one bonus over the other, but I don't know if I can do the 2 together. So that's a question for Donna, and Donna's not here today. She's at a doctor's appointment with her mom. Okay. Back to school. Okay, Gail, let Penny answer that question for you. And I'm going to scroll back and I'm going to see, I love that comment, Elaine. I want to see if there's any other comments or questions in the comments. Irene, you're really excited about the temperature quilt. Carol, yes, the current members right now are going to get the beta version. Yeah. Oh, fantastic, Doreen. You can't always come to the workshops, can you? But you really enjoy watching the workshops for inspiration, for tips and tricks, and for those projects when you want to make a quick project for a family member. It's all in there for you. Okay, good. Karen says, if she can just figure out on the computer how to follow along, you'd be really happy. So what Karen means is you can do this on your phone, your iPad, or your computer. But your computer is your best bet. It's the easiest way to follow along because you can see everything so big, right? You can get up into the fine detail. You can show me what you're doing on your screen, and it's big. You don't have to figure out tilting your camera or your iPad. You can hold things up to your computer like this for me to see what you're doing. So yes, it's a better way to take a workshop when you're on a computer. So if you can figure it out, Karen, that is the best scenario. Let's see. June says she started with Wonder Under and then she used Heat and Bond for years until I started using Sue's method of applique. and I'm having so much fun making applique quilts. I learned so much during the My Magical Garden quilt and still go back to review the techniques in the technique videos. Excellent, June. Excellent. So I'm going to take that comment down so you can see my face again. What June means by that is she took a 9-month workshop. She didn't get involved in the membership because it didn't exist back then. She took the 9-month workshop and she learned how to make My Magical Garden, which has a lot of those techniques. What My Magical Garden doesn't have in it is that short, small project techniques. So when I'm talking about small projects, I'm talking about cork notebook. I'm talking about project boxes. I'm talking about the squares one at a time, or the Christmas tree project. Now we can do a bigger quilt, like the Christmas quilt over here, but it's one block, so it's simple. So when we take that step by step, rather than doing a sampler quilt that has 12 different blocks with hundreds of different techniques, we're breaking it down into small projects in the membership so that it's a different way to learn, but you're going to get all the good stuff. It's just a different format. So yesterday when I asked what your learning style was and where your comfort zone was, where your applique abilities were, somebody with real high applique abilities that just need to learn how to cut the curves but can really move forward with everything else, you're perfect for those 9-month courses. But if you need to learn from the ground up and still get fabulous projects done, or if you're just the type of person that wants to get a project done and not have it hanging over you for the whole 9 months, then the membership is better for you. So yes, there's definitely different paths to go down, but I'm sharing with you today my favorite path. It's the path that I've developed over years of teaching, where I feel like you're going to have the highest success rate because we're doing it in small steps. Okay. So I had a slide that said, don't choose your dream quilt to be your first quilt. Some people have, and they've been very successful at it. But I see a lot of discouragement when you try to start with your dream quilt, right? We got to get on those training wheels before we can ride. And we got to be able to ride before we can race. And we've got to be able to race before we do the Tour de France. There we go. I'm bicycling again. In my dreams, I'm bicycling right now. So yeah, I would love to work with each and every one of you. I would love to work with my current members for another year. Look at that yearly option and see if it works for you. You tell me what works best for you. I do not want to dictate to you. So I'm offering the membership bonus at either level, whether you pay in full or you do the monthly version. But that temperature quilt is within the membership. So if you leave the membership, you're going to leave the temperature quilt. What that means is if you stay where you're confident and you know what you're doing, no worries, right? But if you need the help along the way, if you want the guidance throughout in the community, that's in the membership. All right. Well, I have been so thrilled to be here with all of you. I love sharing the success stories of my students. And I only prepared Amy's success story for today's presentation. I have so many success stories that I would love to share with you. But one of the, Darla, let me just see if I can read that. Oh, Daria asked a question about stitching. Good. I'm going to go ahead and find that question about stitching. But let me just finish my thought. Thank you for that, Penny. I will try to find that comment. Penny, let me know how far back it was because I'm having a hard time finding it. So where was I going? I lost my train of thought. I am excited about working with my current members for another year. How can you benefit from this membership when you've already been around for 18 months? You're going to benefit from the community. You're going to benefit from the special programs that I'm adding, like the temperature quilt. You're going to benefit from 12 brand new workshops that I'm developing just for you. I'm so excited about these workshops because they are plans that I've had in my book to focus on for the past 12 years. And now that I'm home, teaching from home, sewing in slippers, I have the time to develop these programs and to develop these products and patterns for you. So you've seen a lot of new classes. When I was teaching out at shows, that travel schedule was grueling. I taught the same workshops over and over and over again to a different group of students every time. So this is the opposite. I'm teaching a wide range of workshops for a core group of students over and over and over again. So I've got to keep it bright. I've got to keep it fresh. I've got to keep it exciting for you. And it's exciting for me because I'm getting to explore all of these different designs and applique opportunities. So you have given that gift to me by coming to the membership, supporting those workshops, supporting this new form of education online. So I'm going to go back to that screen share for just a second. I'm going to add this back into the stream because I made some more slides and I spent time on them, so I want to show them to you. So after I think I've answered all your questions, except we have to find Daria's question, I want to let you know that I feel strongly about education in every form, whether it's my kids going to college or my son going to barber school or my daughter out there teaching biology this year. Education is an investment in you. And that's what I feel this applique education is all about. If you're a lifelong learner, you never stop learning, and there are always techniques to learn. I'm a lifelong learner. That's why I love this technique, so I can continue learning and continue sharing what I learn with all of you. So thank you so much for coming to Applique School. I'm going to try to find that one comment from Daria and answer that question. But if you have all of your questions answered, we're at 1 o'clock again. And this time has gone by so fast, and I've enjoyed it so much. So thank you for coming. I'll look forward to my Twice on Tuesdays and my Sewing in Slippers, where I can see each of you every week for an hour. And then I can't wait for our next workshop tomorrow for those people that are doing Monet's Garden with me. Yep. I'll see some of you tomorrow, and I'll see many of you in the membership. Thank you so much for coming. I'm going to find Daria's question. I can't search the questions, but I'm going to just take a minute. Gosh, Penny, I'm having a hard time finding it. Let's see if you found it. All right, Penny sent me a picture of her question. That's a good way to do it. So if I become a member, will I get the technique section with critters? That was Tony. That was Tony. Okay, so Penny, the answer to that is I can't give 2 bonuses with our software. So I think I covered that with that question. But I'll ask Donna if she can figure that out. Because I don't have any problem keeping the critters as part of your membership bonus, as long as technically I can do it with the software that we have. So that's my only restriction. So I'll get back to you on that. But Penny, I believe that was it. Penny, I saw you said Daria had a question about stitching. That's the question that I didn't answer. Oh, Daria, here you are. Will you ever address the stitching of the applique to a quilt in any of your workshops? Every single one, Daria. I concentrate on the entire process in every single workshop. And we have a technique video specifically on stitching, choosing your threads, I'm looking up at the light instead of the camera. Sorry about that. The technique section on stitching is buttonhole stitching, straight stitching, zigzag stitching. I have a whole segment on that for you to watch. So you can get the technique, the foundation, And then in each workshop, we talk about what stitching is best for that particular quilt. So yes, to your answer, we address the stitching in the quilt in all of the workshops. You do a whole lot of raw edge applique and was hoping for tips on how to do points and curves without messing up the flow of the stitch. Absolutely, that is part of the course. So Daria, perfect. The membership would be a great idea for you. If membership isn't right for you right now and you just want tips on stitching, go back through my Twice on Tuesdays. The Sewing and Slippers, which is the free Facebook group. It's on Ahead of the Curve with Sue Pelland. Go back to the videos, and somewhere in there is a stitching video. If you go back and you search on the Facebook community and you search buttonhole stitching, it's going to be easier to find. So I do a pretty in-depth talk about buttonhole stitching, just that one stitch for your points, in that video. But I'll tell you what, it's the reinforcement of doing it over and over and over again in the workshops that's going to perfect that technique for you. So Daria, I'm going to encourage you to join the membership. If membership isn't right for you, sign up for the free mini workshop on the website. That is right on the homepage on the website. I forgot to mention it this whole time. There is a free mini workshop that you can join, and I do cover some stitching in there, but only for the most basic shapes, not for those long points. I do cover points, but not your long points. And this one is utilitarian, so I don't get into the show quality level stitching because this is a quick get it done project. So yes, there is buttonhole stitching in here. No, it doesn't give you all the tips for doing show quality quilts. So that's what we get into in the membership. All right, Daria, I'm glad I could answer that question for you. I hope you're still here. Okay, I think we're good. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Elaine, for answering. What is the beta? Okay, Myrna. Beta means that it's the first time I'm offering something. This is used in software. If you get the beta version of a software program, it might have some glitches. It might have some little bugs. It might have technical difficulties, but you're the first one to see it. And that's why you would buy a beta version of a software. You're the first one to see it. You're the first one to use it. You're the first one to test it. You are the first one to give your feedback to make it better. You are the first one to have that technology at your fingertips that everybody else might be so excited about but can't get their hands on because the beta version is a small test group, right? It's a very small group that's going to give feedback, that's going to be involved in the development of that software program. That's how I'm using the word beta. This is a beta version of our class, of our workshop. This is going to be a longer term workshop. It's not going to be a one-shot deal. This is going to be a year-long workshop like our 9-month programs, where you're going to really get to understand how that temperature quilt works, how the Quilt As You Go works, all of that. But it's my first time teaching it, and I need to work through some of the little bugs. I'm so confident on this class. I don't think there's going to be any bugs, but you'll let me know. There might be bugs in the technology. There might be some extra special things in the beta version that I'm not going to have in the full release version next year, like maybe a visit from Pauline Rogers, because she's a good friend of mine. I might be able to bring her in for that Quilt As You Go segment. I don't know that yet. I haven't contacted her yet to find out. So beta version means it's the first time and who knows what's going to happen, but it's going to be exciting and it's going to be fun. Okay, good. I'm glad I answered your question thoroughly. You really appreciate it. You feel like you might start with a workshop before you go for the whole 9 yards. Absolutely. You really enjoyed the 2-day workshop. My pleasure, Daria. I hope I'll see you in the membership eventually, but I realize it's not right for everybody right now. That doesn't mean that a month or 2 or 3 from now, hopefully before we start that temperature quilt. No, you know what? That's only going to be available for our new members if you sign up by midnight Wednesday. Okay. So no worries though. That's just the temperature quilt. Everything else is full service, full action, full access for everything in the membership. The temperature quilt is just that one little carrot that I have to get our new members to sign up by September 1st at midnight. So I'll know exactly how many kits I need to get. We'll do the pre-order of the kits. We'll do the figuring it all out starting now. And so if you get in a little bit later, you'll have missed that planning phase, and I won't be able to do the temperature quilt with new members that start later. So that's the only caveat to starting a little bit later. Okay, Daria. Carol, how do you convert an annual membership versus pay by month? Okay, so if you want to go to the pay by, so you're saying to the annual membership, you want to go to annual instead of pay by month. So you're just going to go put the annual membership in your cart. It's in the membership product. Put the annual membership in your cart and check out. What that's going to do is it's going to cancel your monthly, and it's going to charge you one time for the amount that you pay now, whether it's $49 or $69, whatever you pay now. It's going to put you into that for the year. You'll pay all at once, and you won't have that monthly recurring charge on your card. Okay, Carol? So it will not overlap. It's going to look at your renewal date, and it's going to do the renewal for the whole year on your next renewal date. So there's not going to be any overlapping. You're not going to pay twice for a month, even if you do it right now. It'll wait for your renewal date, and then it'll take care of it. The software takes care of that internally. That's why we have Donna to figure out the software for us. Is the Wonderful 100 on your site? Wonderful 100. Yes, that's the Invisifill. So you're looking for Invisifill. That's what it's called, not Wonderful 100, but it is 100 weight. Yeah. Sue, I'm a gold member. How much to get to platinum? Gold member is $49 a month. Platinum level is $69 a month. So you pay an extra $20 a month for all that extra access. So totally up to you. You can upgrade within your account. Go to your account. You can upgrade. You can downgrade anytime you want. You can pay for annual membership at the $69 level. But remember, you get 2 months free. So it probably comes out as a wash to get into that platinum level membership at the gold level price. I might be a few dollars off, but I think it's pretty close. Okay. Can you review what the coupon discounts are again? Jerry Beam, we have a coupon for one workshop. I wouldn't use that coupon if you're going to do the membership because you're already going to get your workshop with the membership. But if you're not ready for a membership, you can use the coupon. That's back to school, no spaces. Back to school gets you in one of my workshops. Okay? Only the current workshops that are out there for the public, which is the September workshops. Penny, are the October workshops are not yet open to the public, correct? Okay. So you can use back to school with no spaces for a 21% discount off of one workshop. And then you can use school supplies to get your supplies for that workshop. Anything in the Notions category that's not already on sale, you'll get 21% off of your Notions purchase as well. Okay, Jerry? All right. Will it know what level you are if you convert from yearly from being a founding member? Yes, it will, Patty. It's pretty smart. So our founding members, what Patty's talking about is our founding members have a lower price because they were our beta testers. So they have a lower price for Platinum Leaf membership. And it remembers that, it knows that, and it will only charge you the Gold Leaf membership price for you, for my special people out there that were my founding members. Thank you for that question, Patty. If there's a glitch, Dawn is not available today. If there's any glitch, we'll correct it. But yes, that is the way it's going to work. Penny, yep. My membership is August, so do I need to wait a year for the annual membership? No, Anita, you don't. You can upgrade now, and it will renew your membership at your next renewal date. So if you're paying monthly, say you pay on September 5th, you've already paid for September. So on October 5th, when it goes to charge you again, it will remember that you want the annual, and it'll charge you for the annual. It may charge you now, but it won't take effect until your renewal date. So on October 5th, you'll be an annual member, and that'll go to the following October 5th. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Just signed up for your annual platinum membership. Can you use a coupon for Notions? Absolutely. Yes. So Val, you were not a member before, and you're a member now. Okay, so Val, welcome to the membership. Yay, I'm so excited for you. Your coupon for Notions is school supplies. Use that coupon because it's a higher coupon than your membership coupon, okay? School supplies is only available through tomorrow. After tomorrow, you're going to use Curves Ahead, all one word. Curves Ahead on any purchase. It doesn't only work for Notions. Your membership coupon works on everything. It's a lower discount, but it works on everything. So you get 11% off any purchase from the website for our members. Use the code Curves Ahead. It's only valid for members, so I don't mind telling everybody what the coupon code is. It doesn't work for anybody unless you're a member. Okay, good. You missed Monet's Garden. Will I repeat it? Yes, Kathy, I will. I don't know when, and it may not be this year because we've already kind of put everything on the calendar for this year, and I've got 12 new workshops for this year. But what I will be doing is it will go into the Platinum Leaf membership. So if you're a Platinum Leaf member, that's one of those benefits, is that 21 workshops, that keeps growing. Anytime I have a workshop that I think is important or fun, anytime I have a workshop that teaches a new technique that I think it's important for you to learn, a new skill that you can learn, I'm going to put it up in the Platinum Leaf membership as a recorded workshop that you can watch anytime. So that's my commitment to you in the Platinum Leaf level. You're going to always have new things, right? That's why it pays to become a Platinum Leaf member. Okay, good. Excellent. Welcome, Val. I'll have Penny schedule with you a orientation so we can go over the how to use the membership site. Okay, I'm going to wait until all the new members sign up. Then we'll have a group session. If you can't make it, it's going to be recorded, and I will email the group session to you so you can see how to use the membership site. I did one with our last cohort that started last time, and that worked out really well. We will do it with this new group as well. I just haven't picked a date yet. Okay. Terrific, Val. Thank you so much. Welcome to the crowd. I know you've been hanging around for a while and watching from the wings, and I'm so happy to have you as one of our newest members. All right, everyone. I'm going to sign off now. We're about 15 minutes overdue. I will send you, sorry, I left Myrna's comment on there. I will send you a copy of this video if you want to go over it again to understand how the new membership options will work. I'm going to send this out to you in an email. Bye for now. I'm so happy to see all of you today. Have a lovely day, and I can't wait to start working with you inside the membership.